For those of you who attended last year, there's no doubt you remember our next speaker's powerful presentation as he shared his personal and professional journey as a real estate brand CEO and a member of the LGBTQ community. 6 years ago, this top agent turned broker manager took on the role of growing and operating the well-established European real estate company Engel & Volkers. Engel und Volkers. Wir sind die Americas. With operations in over 30 countries in some of the most premier locations. Engel & Volkers is one of the largest privately owned real estate companies in the world. I can do that because I'm a racist. Now with an acute focus in expansion in the America's marketplace, Engel & Volkers, I can't say it any other way, is offering a fresh approach to luxury and bespoke client service throughout the US, Canada, and Caribbean. Under his leadership, it's recognized as one of the most powerful people in residential real estate. Please welcome to the stage President and CEO of Engel & Volkers, my friend, Anthony Hitt.
We didn't match our suits this year.
We didn't match our suits. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hello again. Well, as Alex said, last year I stood on the stage and I told you all about the story of growing up in Missouri. A few years ago, I shared the fact that I had met and fallen in love with my partner and now husband. And by the way, we did celebrate our 30th anniversary in June, as expected. Sean, in the back of the room. I told you about coming out to the CEO, the founder of Engel & Volkers, Mr. Christian Volkers, and I told you all about the significance of the number 3 in our lives. And I will just tell you, I love you, Sean, as I said from the stage, but I love everybody in this room. The NAGLREP audience was so supportive of what I had to say last year, and I appreciate that. I met so many of you at not only this event, but other events throughout the course of the year. It came up and would share something personal with me based on what I had to tell you, which really felt good. It really made me feel good that I had it really was the courage to come up here and say those things, because I had never said anything like that in front of an audience before. I will also tell you something very interesting about this group. If I looked at the NAGLREP Facebook page afterwards, the only thing I think there were more positive comments about than what I had to say was the shoes that I wore, the Louboutins. So I love you guys. I love you all so much. So what am I going to share with you today? And I wanted to come up with something special. I want to give you something maybe ahead of everybody else. So what I'm going to do today is give you kind of a sneak preview of some insight that we'll be sharing in a couple of weeks. So this is the first time we presented any of this information. And we're going to talk a little bit about influencing the next generation of wealth. We're going to talk about that next generation of the affluent. But before we do that, I want to step back just a little bit. We all, I think, understand the concept of an influencer. How many of you follow influencers online? Raise your hands. Okay. I'd say most of us, a good majority of us. How many of you believe or will admit that an influencer has probably influenced you to make a buying decision? Okay. Not as many admitting that. Okay. That's good. Well, let's take a look at these influencers. These are some influencers. Who do you think on this wall are going to be the ones that influence the next generation of wealth the most? It's not who you think it is. It's not Kim Kardashian, even though supposedly she's been paid over $250,000 for a single Instagram post when she showcased a product. It's not Obama. It's actually the people that you least recognize. The topic experts. This is where we come in. This is where there's an opportunity, and I'm going to get back to that in just a couple of minutes. So let me tell you a little bit about Henry. Engel & Volkers has commissioned 2 large pieces of research this year, all wrapped around the concept of luxury. One of the reports, or one of the surveys and research, was wrapped around the idea of the luxury from the perspective of a consumer, our future clients, the people we all want to do business with. And the other was from the perspective of us, the real estate professionals. So today I'm going to introduce you to Henrys. I'm going to tell you who they are. I'm going to tell you what they value. And I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can connect with them and possibly earn their business. Have we all heard the term of a Henry before? Well, a Henry is a high-earning, not rich yet individual. That's a Henry. Let's talk about who they are. First of all, Henrys have a household income of at least $100,000. And I know depending on where you're coming from, you're thinking, well, that's not that much. Other cases, maybe differently. But these are people that are in their 20s and 30s. So $100,000 is not a bad start. They're not the 1%ers yet, but they're certainly heading in that way. Something else about it I just mentioned, they are millennials. We decided to focus specifically on the millennials in this category. So these are the people born between 1982 and 1999. Again, think about this. These are people in their 20s and 30s that are already earning this level of income. Think about the future earning potential that's coming out of this group. Earlier on the stage, we heard about some of the facts about millennials. We know that about a third of millennials currently own their own home. We know that about 80% of millennials say that home ownership is important to them. But when we get to the Henrys that are millennials, that number jumps all the way up to 97%. This is an audience we want to be interested in. What I found particularly interesting is that 61% of them already own or plan on owning a second property. I think this also has something to do with the trend we heard earlier too. We're moving into the metropolitan areas. We're getting into that intensity and that excitement and that communal living. But when you do that, you also want to get away from all of that occasionally. And having that second space, that second place to go, to get away, is even more important to this particular group than it has to the generations before that. Let's talk about reclaimed luxury. Reclaimed luxury is a term that we use. It's actually one of our themes in our brand of Engel & Volkers. We believe that luxury is simply the enjoyment of the best in life. It's an experience of beauty and knowledge and the intimate relationship of context, comfort, and craftsmanship. We believe our job, our role, is to help our clients discover what luxury means to them. And because it's extremely personal, we want to help them live whatever that personal luxury means. That's what our responsibility is. So that being said, let's talk about what the Henrys have to say. We interviewed over 1,000 Henrys, high-earning, not rich yet individuals, and we asked them, what does luxury mean to you? And the word cloud here will show you that quality was the first word that came up, or the biggest, the most word. Reputation, premium price was number 3, and premium price doesn't mean the highest priced. That was number 3. But also interesting to me is that you see tradition and nostalgia coming from this younger group, this younger audience. We see innovation. I think what's also interesting to me is word of mouth. The Henrys believe that luxury is something that other people are talking about, and because other people are talking about it, it's important. It's valuable. Word of mouth is important. So we asked them, how do you choose a luxury brand? And they said, well, we've heard about it before. We're familiar with it. Reputation for quality, its historical value, past personal experience, all the way down. Price point is number 5. This is different than the research that had been done in the past when we asked older generations the same questions. So we asked them, well, what defines a home as luxury? And this is where the insight gets really interesting. The finishes, the neighborhood, the amenities, smart home technology, all came in higher. As a matter of fact, in the top 5, you don't see price. Price doesn't come in until all the way down at the bottom of the list. Less than 40% thought about price when they defined a home as luxury. This generation is not only reclaiming, they're claiming luxury to mean something completely different than what a lot of us have defined as luxury. As a matter of fact, what a lot of us continue to define as luxury. Because in the sister research, when we ask real estate professionals the same question, sales price, 78% was number 1. The neighborhood and the amenities, but then it was about size. How big is the house? How big is the lot? I know there's a joke there, but I'm not going to do it. But moves on down. Look at that disconnect. The disconnect between what these individuals, these people that we want to do business with, and what we believe. There's an opportunity for us to learn, and there's an opportunity for us to go after this particular book of business. So let's talk a little bit about how they choose a real estate agent. First of all, I completely lost my train of thought. I thought I was going to make it through without going to the notes, but I didn't make it, and I want to make sure I get this information out to you correctly. So, not this page. Is that what it was? Now there's another joke that I could actually put in there too. So, there we go. Not that page. This is what happens when you, by the way, decide to share brand new information on presentations that you've never presented before in front of an audience of people that know will actually be paying attention to what you have to say. There we go. The disconnect. There we go. So we know about a third of all. Here we go. Can I just carry this with me now? Okay, so we know about so I guess this is stating the obvious. So if we know that about a third of all of our transactions are first-time home buyers, and that most first-time home buyers are millennials, and about 97% of Henrys value home ownership and have the income to support the purchase, we want to know how we're going to connect with them. So I'm going to say social media, and a lot of you are going to roll your eyes and go, of course, duh. But it's not doing a lot of the things that we've been doing in the past on social media. It's not just showing our listings and talking about our open houses. It's not just showing those perfectly photoshopped images of ourselves. Where are these Henrys living? Well, they're living, we've been hearing for a long time that Facebook is for the old people. Well, Henrys are telling us that the number one social platform that they're going to is still Facebook, followed by YouTube, followed by Instagram. So that's where they're at. It's not Snapchat and the others that we keep hearing about. They're still on Facebook. What's also interesting about this group is that when it comes to making buying decisions, they're still going to these same platforms to research service providers. I don't think most of us, or a lot of us in this room, have ever thought about using those platforms to research where we're going to do business. After that, it gets back to being pretty close to the same as the rest of our clients. They're looking for a referral from a friend or family. They're looking for the reputation of somebody that has a great reputation in the local neighborhood, and they're looking for someone who is an expert in the local neighborhood. The same things that we know about everyone else. But here's something that's kind of interesting, because the way they define a friend might be different than the way we've thought about friends in the past. There was a time that a lot of us, when we talked about our friends, we would say we had maybe 5, maybe 25 friends. But today, we have hundreds, maybe thousands of friends and followers. That's a whole new group of people who are potential lead generators for us. A different group of people that we need to influence and we need to think about and we need to ask for business. So let's talk about why they decide to follow you. First of all, Henrys do follow influencers on social media. Second of all, 85% of them say that influencers have helped them make a buying decision. The questions I asked all of us when we just got started. And here's who they're following. 65% say they're following a topic expert. This is someone like on physical fitness. This is an interior decorator. This is a local real estate advisor. Number 2 is the celebrities, the journalists, the politicians. But number 1 is the topic experts. They want to follow you. They want to know you. They want to understand your expertise. Why? Well, these are the things they're looking to learn from you. And I think it basically boils down to entertainment, education, and authenticity. A couple things that we found very interesting. One of the things they look for is the quality of followers. So they're looking at who else is following you. So if you're going out and buying followers, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. You've got to build an authentic, real group of followers. They're looking at the quality of followers. By the way, one of the things that people love, and I think we've all been there, have you ever gone to an Instagram post or a Facebook post, and just about the time you're going to post the like button, push the like button, you'll find out that 3 or 4 people that you know have already liked that? Like, wow, I've got something in common with that person. Well, your clients, the Henrys, also feel the exact same way when they see your name. Oh, there's a connection. This is a new kind of connection that we haven't necessarily thought about in the past. I've said that a few times. Referenced by other influencers. If one influencer that somebody follows talks about somebody else, that gives even more credibility, even validates that particular person or influencer. The quantity is still important, the quantity of followers, but they've got to have the quality there first. And few, if any, paid posts. They don't want you to be a walking billboard. Now, this does not mean they don't want to see your beautiful listings. They love real estate porn, so it needs to be there. But they don't want to see a lot of paid posts in there. And finally, they still want old-fashioned, you're being quoted in the media. You are the expert. They want something else to validate you. This is how they choose who they follow. So quality is about who, not how many. Earlier, I showed you the topic experts, and one of them was Martin Reuleaux. Martin Reuleaux is in real estate, and he is absolutely doing it right. Martin is local, and he's involved in his community. He's authentic and personal. He's giving insider looks, and he is all about quality and beautiful listings and behind-the-scene looks. Here's some of the kinds of things that he's been posting. These are actually from his post. What he does is he takes his followers on vacation with him. He takes them to Europe. He takes them sailing. So he takes them and introduces them to celebrities and people that he knows. He takes them into local restaurants, his favorites. And not only does he take a post of the food, he introduces you to the staff and the owners. He takes you into the businesses. He lets you live his life or feel like you're living his life by being a part of those posts, being part of his community. This is what Henrys want from us. This is what your followers want from you. By the way, Martin is one of our top producers worldwide with Engel and Folkers. He's in Montreal, Canada. He has 23,000, as of this morning, organic followers on Instagram. 23,000. Most of his business is coming now because of the relationships he's put together because of Instagram. He also told me a story. I saw him we were at the grand opening of our new world headquarters in Hamburg a couple weeks ago. And he was telling me the story that he had been, I told him I was going to use him in this presentation. He told me that he had been vacationing in Europe about a year ago. And he actually had one of his followers who he had never met walk up to him, recognize him, and start a conversation. Now, he's in Europe, first of all. This happens. And he has since done 2 transactions that came off of that meeting. I've never heard stories like that, but it's happening with Martin. He's absolutely doing it right. So what it boils down to, and I'm going to go back here to my notes because there's just some things I want to make sure that I don't miss here. We can't do the same things as everyone else and expect to get a better result. I found that most of the truly successful agents in this business are the agents who have been able to pair their personal passions with their professional life and their business. And when they pair those things together, magic happens. Great business happens. It doesn't seem as much like work. I think this morning we were talking about the idea of attracting the kind of people you want to do business in. This is the same idea. Attract the people that want to live the life that you're living, who are aspirational. Show them what you're doing. In this industry, we've heard for years and years and years the idea that you need to be the mayor of your community. Have you heard this term before? Be the mayor, be the mayor. A couple days ago, I was reading on Inman, and there was a whole story about now you need to be the digital mayor of your group. Well, I don't think that's right. Most people don't want to follow the mayor. They want to follow the experts. They want to follow the people that they want to be like, that they want to live like. They want to follow the people who are helping others live those lives in those properties. They want to follow you, they want to do business with you, and they want to refer other people to you to do business. So these are the Henrys. We've got to be different. We've got to do things differently. But when we do, we can have an incredible future ahead of us in real estate, as I think others on the stage have said today. So, again, the report's not out for another couple of weeks, but when it does come out, if you would like a copy of the full white paper on everything we've learned about Henrys and what we think as real estate professionals, you can hit me on Instagram at Anthony Hitt, send me an email, and I will make sure that you're on the list, and I'll send it to you all as well. Thank you all very much. No tears this year. No tears this year.
Anthony Hitt, ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Hitt. Hey, I learned so much. I'm a Henry. I'm a high-earning, not